Toya Cantrell refuses to reimburse $30,000 that she used to upgrade her flights. Airline tickets, basically. She insists that flying coach is unsafe for black women. Here's the quote. "My travel accommodations are a matter of safety, not of luxury. As all women know, our health and safety are often disregarded and we are left to navigate alone. Anyone who wants to question how I protect myself just doesn't understand the world black women walk in."
So now black women got to fly first class? Coach is racist? So a black woman mayor believes she can only fly first class because if she doesn't, it would somehow risk her safety. I wish I could use that argument, but you know what? Let's not go to the Fox News. Let's just go to local news coverage of this and see what the hell is going on. Because I don't believe that this mayor really made this excuse that she needs to fly first class for protection because black women can't ride coach. That's essentially what it sounds like they're saying. But you know what? Let's not judge it. Let's watch.
And thanks for watching. I'm Katie Moore.
And I'm Sheree Skipson. The city travel policy is that city employees must buy the lowest airfare available or pay the difference if they elect to travel in other sections.
And Paul Murphy reports the legal question now is, does the policy apply to elected officials, such as the mayor?
That's interesting. So in this city, the policy is get the cheapest. And if you want to upgrade, hey, it's on you, right? The mayor is saying that policy doesn't apply to me and other elected officials. But this just seems to be something fresh and new, right? That's just come out now. So let's see what these arguments are, because there seems to be some type of a little legal wrangling. I think it's all BS, right? Because let's just forget, for me, if the mayor is being paid by the city, she's a city employee. All elected officials, right, are city employee. There's a difference. See, generally, I don't consider there to be a difference if you're elected to your job versus if someone hires you for the job, right? Because it's essentially the same thing. But the policy should really work for everybody. So let's see how they're making this difference between elected officials and everyone else, right? Let's see what the argument is, because there may be an argument here.
A defiant New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell is refusing to pay the city roughly $29,000 she charged this year to upgrade her city air travel to business and first class.
All expenses incurred doing business on behalf of the city of New Orleans will not be reimbursed to the city of New Orleans. One thing is clear, I do my job.
All right. So just to be clear, listen, doing your job is one thing, but getting upgrades to first class is something else, right? Like, I've been a city employee, I've been a state employee, and when it's true, when you travel, they take care of everything. They take care of your food, they take care of your lodging, they take care of your travel, they do take care of everything. But now if I want to go on a private jet, right, that costs $30,000 a seat, they're not going to pay for that, right? Because that's being wasteful, wasted city money. So this argument that she just does her job, right, means that she can spend the city's money the way she wants is ridiculous. It just totally ridiculous, especially in a city like New Orleans, which is extremely poor. It just doesn't make any sense. So she's essentially fleecing this city and trying to make good on it. So let's see what else is going on here.
And I will continue to do it with distinction, with dignity and integrity.
There's no dignity and integrity. Stop it.
And so that's what I have to say on that.
The city's travel policy states employees are required to purchase the lowest airfare available.
Makes sense.
And that employees who choose to upgrade from coach economy or business class flights are solely responsible for the difference in cost.
So why wouldn't that? So, all right, they have to make the argument here why that doesn't apply to elected officials. Let's see.
The policy also states any reconciliation of travel expenses that results in overpayment by the city requires that the employee reimburse the city within 20 business days.
So she only had 20 days to give them back their money too. So,
well, the policy of the city of New Orleans says that employees, if they decide to fly first class as opposed to the lower fare, they have to reimburse the city.
The mayor
we know
listed
that
the city of New Orleans as her employer on her financial disclosure form.
So the mayor or the financial institution said, who do you work for? Who are you an employee of? the city of New Orleans, right? The city of New Orleans. She's an employee of the city. But now it's like, oh, so you're an employee. You got to follow these policies. Give us back our money. I'm not an employee. I get it. And they haven't made the argument on why this doesn't apply to her. Matter of fact, you're just showing me that even more that applies to her. She's essentially saying she's a city employee, right? She's an elected city employee, but she's still getting paid by the city.
But New Orleans attorney and legal analyst Tim Mesh says that doesn't necessarily make her a city employee subject to the travel policy.
Let's hear.
But the issue is traditionally, what have mayors of municipalities been considered? And in just about all the circumstances, they're not considered to be employees.
City Council President Helena Moreno says she is now seeking legal opinions from both the city attorney and the council's attorney as to whether the travel policy applies to the mayor and if she has to reimburse the city for her travel upgrades.
Here, I do appreciate how local news didn't even bring in the fact that she's talking about she's doing it because she's a black woman. They went to the technical legal piece of it, which I'm more interested in. But if it's true what this attorney down there saying, that, it's never, elected officials have never been considered city employees in that particular jurisdiction, then I think the mayor has a good argument, right? Well, then what are the limits, right? Could the mayor just spend $100,000 on a first class airline ticket to just go? It really makes you think maybe they just had a bad policy, right? But I think ethically, there's no doubt about it that if she did upgrade, and if her excuse is that it's because she's a black woman, then I think it's horrible. And in her statement that you heard earlier,
expenses incurred doing business on behalf of the city of New Orleans will not be reimbursed to the city of New Orleans. One thing is clear, I do my job.
That statement is not saying, hey, I'm exempt because I'm not a city employee. The policy doesn't apply to me. That's saying it was necessary for me to do my job because, and I'm going to show up because of a safety issue and I'm a black woman. So it seems like the excuses have just been churning and churning and churning. You start once, now you got another excuse, now you got another excuse. And she's just trying to make whatever excuse possible to try to get out this mess. But I got a thought to you. Do you think the mayor should pay back that $30,000 in overages that she used to travel? Or do you think that the city should just eat it and then change the policy? Right now, from what I'm thinking, is that the mayor, you get caught, you're flying first class, you're flying, and now you're trying to say, hey, this is all good. I can spend as much money as I want. That's not right. There's no possible way in any reasonable interpretation of law that would allow the mayor to just spend whatever she wants to essentially bankrupt the city on one trip if she wanted to, right? Essentially, that's what she's saying. I could do whatever I want. I'm the mayor. I don't know if that's the thing. So after the scandal broke, there was a poll taken, and this poll says that 50% of voters support recall of Mayor Cantrell. So in a whopping margin, according to the poll, 55.4% said recall Cantrell, the mayor, and 39% answered do not recall, and 7.7% said that they didn't know. So the people of New Orleans are not stupid, right? the recall Cantrell. They're saying that yes, if you're spending $30,000 extra on some bull, and then you have the nerve to try to pretend that you needed it for safety because you're a black woman, and if you're trying to pretend that you don't need to pay us our money back, then you need to get out of office. So right now, she's underwater big time, because that means 55% of her constituents don't want her even in office. So we'll see, we'll continue to cover this story. I think she should give back the money. I think it's obvious she should give back the money. But what do you think? Do you think the mayor has a good argument? Do you think she should give it back? Do you think she should be recalled? Let me know what you think in the comment section. My name is Nate the Lawyer. We're out. Peace.